Hello, everyone. My name is Sadat Alam. I will be presenting my Project 1, which is a dice game I created. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. All right, let's start this. Here we go. All right, so yeah, the name of my project is Roll the Dice. It's a simple UI for a dice game, and I was the only member of the project. So I developed, tested, did the documentation, and coded everything. So the objective of this project was to basically create an UI for a dice game. Um, so some of the things I had in mind that had to be on there is obviously a button to roll the dice, a rules section, so people can know what the rules are, a section for player names and the score, and the number of turns each player has remaining. This is a basic design that I had in mind when I was planning for the web page. So obviously I wanted to do it just with a header, and then under the header, it would be the main body, and then a footer. So the header would include the title of my game, which is Roll the Dice, and then a navigation bar on the right. So um, people could navigate through the website. The footer section, but I decided to just put my name and uh, yeah, the give my name and then the class info on the website, which I will show you in a bit. And then the body where everything, the main, where the meat of the project is. So basically, the body it's separated into three sections, horizontally, which is section, the main game board section with button to roll the dice, and then the scores section, obviously. This is the UML class diagram. So obviously here, the three main parts that make up the web page, which is the header, the body, and the footer. We have so the header contains the title of the project or the game, and it also has a navigation bar, which includes the uh, home bar, the FAQ, rankings, and registrations. Now, these don't actually go anywhere, but you can hover your mouse over it. And just for aesthetics sake, which I'll show in the presentation, live presentation demo of the website. And then we have the body, which contains the main section, the core section of the web page. We have the rules on the left-hand side with the image with the yeah, so it contains text of the rules and then like a smiley face image. It contains the game board um, div, which contains a button and the dice gif. And then on the right hand side, there's a scores section, which is just a table with player names, um, player scores, and the number of turns that the player has left. And then we have the footer, which I said earlier in the last slide that it was just developer info. We have So the key design features that needed to be implemented in this web page was transition, animation, and translate. So for transition, I used it on the roll button. So whenever a mouse hovers over it, it becomes wider. For animation, I used it on the table score section because I figured you needed to show the player something needed to happen when a player won the game. So I did that by using animation, and it just displays the winner of the game by highlighting the player in blue. And then the translate, I use that on the smiley face image under the rules section. I use the translate scale to basically scale the picture to 0.5 of its original size. And then I also used it to move the div box around at at like where I wanted it to be exactly. All right, so in this slide, so here's the code for the transition that I used. As you can see, it's in the game box button. I used the transition, I gave it the property width because that's what I wanted to change. The delay I made 1 second, and then the duration is 0.5 seconds. And then the game box button, I did it so whenever you hover over the button, the width would go to 100 pixels from the original 50 pixels. Animation. I made a ID called winner, named it, gave it animation name, winner, duration, 4 seconds, and then animation fill mode, forwards, meaning that after the animation is done, um, it would stay in the one that's the final color instead of going to its previous gray color. So I made the keyframes winner. At 0%, the background color is gray, which is the original color of the table data. And then the 100%, the background color goes to blue. And then this fill mode forwards, it makes it stay blue for the duration of the site, which I'll show in the live demo of the website. And then translate, I just use that to obviously this is an ID, it's a div smile face, and I just use translate to move it around, and then the smile face image that's inside the div smile face ID, I just scaled it to 0.5 of its original. So some of the problems I had with this project was obviously time management and workload since I was the only member. Um, and then there's this picture, as you can see on the right hand side, this white space right here between the header and body. I had a problem with uh, filling that in because they wouldn't connect. And then obviously giving the button an action when the user presses it. That was also a big problem. So the solutions I had were for the workload, I just divided into 3 days. The first day I did my design, basic sketch, and I wanted to just think of a simple game idea involving around dice. And then the second day, I started developing the web page slash testing it, making sure everything was looking good. And then the third day, I used just for documentation and doing this presentation. For that second problem, which was the white space between the header and body, I used the overflow property. Um, I use this. On Microsoft, you can press like CTRL, Shift, and S to see your uh, forget what it's called, but it brings up the HTML property of the web page. And then I realized it was a problem with the header. So I used the overflow property and gave it hidden, and then that fixed up the problem. So the header and body connected without that white space being there. And then for the button, I couldn't give it an action by only using HTML and CSS. So I just opted to use a dice GIF to give the effect that the user was rolling an actual dice. All right. So now I'm just going to show you guys a going to show you guys the website that I did. Oh, here we go. So this is the website. As you can see, title, this is the header page, this is the body, and then the footer. As you can see, this is the GIF I opted to use, and then if you put your mouse on the roll button, it transition and makes the width. Um, yeah, just expands the width. This is the smiley face that I used for the translate. There's actually a div box right here that you can't see because the background color is gray, and which is inside another div called rules. And so these are the rules. Player gets maximum of 10 turns. Dice number is scored in hundreds. First one to 5,000 wins. And the most important rule, obviously, is to have fun. This is the game board area that I was talking about. And then the score section. So as you can see, Jarvis won the game with 5,000 points, and he has 5 turns left. So if I reload this page, if you keep an eye on the right-hand side, you'll see that it's gray and then it goes to blue because Jarvis won. So yeah, as you can see. All right, guys, thank you. And yeah, stay safe. Have a good day.